looks like they're pretty much ready to go here.
Yep.
Looks like they're off.
Off. Alrighty, good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you're watching, and welcome to another Zelda 2 100% all keys race. Tonight we have Error72 versus Scorpion Max. This is a number 3 versus number 11 seed matchup in the winner's bracket. I am the Green Leaf Effect. With me tonight is Feasel.
Hello.
And so far we've got them both going into Medicine Cave. Looks like time-wise they're about synced up as they're leaving, so it's, at least starting off everything's going to be good, and looks like neither one of them got the 50p bag coming out of Medicine Cave, or not Medicine Cave, a Magic Jar Cave, excuse me. So it'll be interesting to see if they choose to do early Trophy Cave, and it looks like that's what Max is doing right away here, just heading straight up to go early Trophy Cave.
Error had an unfortunate encounter, but he's not headed up that way anyway. He's just going straight into Shield Town. And yeah, I think that probably means he's going to head into Palace 1 and just hope for both 200 bag drops.
Error in chat saying he wants a do-over already.
Already wants a do-over. Well, neither person got the 50 bag, but it does suck starting out with an encounter like that. That's no fun.
Nope.
Well, Max should be okay on experience from here on out, unless he gets hit by a bunch of tin suits or something like that. I think he's going to be okay. Or he could still get really bad luck and get 0 200 bags in the palace. That's always a possibility.
Yep. Another interesting thing of note, Max not picking up Shield. Just heading straight from the Trophy Cave over to the palace, and he'll be picking up Shield on the way out.
Yeah, it might just be that it makes the encounter manipulations a little easier. I'm not sure. It's a little tricky sometimes if you have to adjust your route, but he's probably used to taking the backup strats to go for early Trophy Cave, so I don't know. Doesn't manage to get the bubble skip, though.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't find Shield particularly helpful in the first palace either, so I don't blame him for waiting.
No, it's just that I just hope he remembers to actually pick it up, because everyone, for the most part, that's the first thing you do after you get out of that first Magic Jar Cave, is you go right to the Shield Town and pick up the Shield spell.
Yep. That
adjusting and not picking it up may actually affect him, because he's not getting it normally, or where you normally would get it.
Well, Error does not manage to get the bubble skip either. So they're pretty much neck and neck, except for the fact that they've both done different things at this point.
And Error getting through that with 1 bar of health left, so thankfully the heart will refill his life, but it was a little bit stressful going through the bubble encounter there.
I bet it is. I bet. Alright, Max already in the first palace.
So yeah, for those who might not have ever seen this before, what they're going to be looking to do coming out of the first palace here is manipulate the experience that they get. Due to a mechanic in the game, at the end of every palace there is a shrine where they're going to place a gem. When they do that, they're going to get enough experience to reach their next level up. So what they're going to be attempting to do is manipulate their experience to get the most amount of experience possible from the end of palace gem. So the ultimate end goal coming out of Palace 1 here is to be at attack value of 4 and magic value of 1 and life value of 1, but the big thing they're looking for is attack 4.
Yep. If you don't have attack 4, you can still make up the leveling that you're missing, but it's going to mean killing a lot more enemies, relying on some luck, and the enemies that you do kill are going to take longer because there'll be more attacks to kill them.
Yeah, and with the attack 4 thing, because of the 2 different routes that they took to get here, Max is in a much better spot to get to attack 4, because he has to rely on a 75% chance that he'll get to his attack 4, where Error is relying on a 25% chance. And what I mean by that is there are the enemy dropping groups in this game. There are a big item dropping group. Every 6 enemies that they kill will have a chance to drop an item. It is a 50% chance to drop a red jar, which will fully refill magic. Those will become more important later. and 50% chance to drop a 200 experience point P bag. So Max only needing one of them is a 75% chance for him, and the way Error did his route, he needs two of them. That's why it is a 25% chance.
Right, and we'll see. We saw Max and Error both skipping those two Stalfoses. We can explain a little bit more about that later, but for now, Max is taking his attack level up and getting that key. But, well, essentially the point of skipping those two skeletons is it shifts around which enemy from the large enemy group is going to be your drop. So you'll end up getting about 20 more experience points more in this dungeon by shifting that drop to an enemy that's not worth as much, so you don't lose as much experience from that guy dropping an item instead of giving you the experience. Error did that as well, but he doesn't really need to do that. He's relying on two 200 bags, and I don't think it matters to him an extra 20. He's either going to make it or he's going to miss by a lot. Might just be habit, or maybe he's got something else in mind that we don't know about. But you'll see him skipping it again on the way back. There we go. And now losing Beam Sword, neither player with Beam Sword at this point. That can really make a difference in how you play this palace, whether or not you keep Beam Sword. Certainly the way this room that Error is going through right now, the way you do this room very much depends on whether you have Beam Sword or not.
And the room that Max was just in, that collapsing bridge room, when you see Error going into, that can be a bit of a trolly room, just because the random movements that the bots do, bots being the little blue blobby slime things, they are just completely random in their movements. They'll troll you, they'll jump at you twice, they'll jump at you once. There's really no predicting what they're going to do. So any room that has lava and bots, just be aware of those.
Yes.
And the item you just saw Max pick up there, that is the first palace item of the game. That is the candle. What the candle is going to do is going to light up all of the caves we go through the rest of the game, so you guys at home and us here on the call can actually see what's going on.
Well, both players making their way back from the candle right there. Max a little bit farther ahead, but remember that Max has not gotten the shield spell yet, and Error has. Here's his first chance at a drop. He gets the 200 bag that he needs. He had a 50-50 shot of getting it there, and he had another 50-50 shot for his second chance, but he got it on his first try, so he doesn't have anything to worry about experience-wise. 395 going down that elevator is just enough. And will Error get it?
That's
Error gets
one of them.
Yeah, there we go. Error still... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Error still needs one more 200 bag. He gets another shot at it from the final enemy of this dungeon, and we'll see how his luck holds out there.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually seen the double 200 bag in a race where it's been needed to pick it up, and as I say that, there's a second 200 bag that Max doesn't need because he'll be perfectly fine for Horsehead. Horsehead being the boss of Palace 1, which is just looks like a chess piece through armor.
Well, pretty standard Horsehead fight, went very cleanly. Did he get it? Error did not get it,
Nope.
I don't think.
Nope,
So,
because look at the experience, he got the jar.
so he's going to get his attack 3. He's got to fight Horsehead with attack 2 for one thing, so that's going to be an extra 3 hits, I believe. 11 instead of 8, I think is what it is. And then he's going to get an attack level, but he's not going to be able to get a big bonus out of the palace. Notice that Max is already up to attack 4 because he was able to get a huge bonus from that palace because he did his leveling went the way he'd hoped. Error, on the other hand, is just going to get...
He did pick up life 2 there to get a little bit more experience from the shrine, doing a little bit of manipulation there to get the 100 as opposed to the 50 that life 1 to life 2 would have been.
Mm-hmm. And we see Max now going for the shield spell. After he's got the shield spell, and after Error's gone to the trophy cave, these are two... Error hasn't done the trophy cave, and Max hasn't done shield. After both players have done that, then we'll have a sense of how even this race is.
Yep. And the trophy cave specifically that Error is going to be doing and Max already did, it is required to stop here and pick up the trophy because you need the trophy in order to acquire the jump spell. And seeing as this is a 100% category, you need to get, well, all the items and all the spells, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, normally you wouldn't get this in a speedrun, but 100% means you got to get it, so... they're getting it. One of the things that makes this a pretty friendly category to new players is that you have the benefit of having all the spells available to you, and you don't have to waste time to get them, because everyone's required to get them.
Yep. Even that one spell that does nothing. You know which spell I'm talking about, viewers.
There's a couple of spells that do nothing, to be honest.
But they know the one I'm specifically talking about.
Yes. Well, Error getting into this town first. Yeah, I mean, he's getting there first. He's a bit ahead. I'm seeing about maybe 20 seconds difference between the players right now, but being at attack level 3 instead of 4 is going to be a big disadvantage for him, so he's going to end up losing a bit of time. We'll see if that's enough for Max to catch up.
Yep, so this is the second spell that we have acquired. This is the jump spell. And the first couple of spells in the game, they pretty much do exactly what they say on the label. The spell's name pretty much tells you what it does. In this case, jump will increase how high we jump. And that's going to be useful multiple times throughout the run here. Starting off right in the first cave as we leave this town, you actually need it to get through the aptly named Jump Cave. And just to note while we have a little time here, normally I address it later, but you'll take a look at the magic menu there. You saw shield in the first slot and jump in the second one. And then take a look at the top HUD there and you see all the magic bars. You see how they have 5 currently. With 5 bars of magic there, they are able to currently learn up to the 5th spell in the slots. Just the mechanic of this game is you need a bar of magic for each level the spell is, and the spell's level is determined by the slot it takes up in your menu. So if they wanted to be able to learn the 6th spell in that menu, which is Reflect, they would need to have another bar of magic. It's not something that necessarily comes into play in this specific speedrun, but there are other categories of this game where it definitely matters.
Well, we have Error the first to do this walk through the swamp here. He gets a very good pattern. He does a little manipulation, walking a couple steps out of his way to get the enemies to spawn at a certain point. Ooh, a rogue fairy there almost got him, but he managed to get all the way up to Bagoo without any kind of encounter, so that's going to be really good for him. Let's see if Max can do the same. Not as good. Yeah, and he gets an encounter there. So to some degree you can manipulate that. You can usually get by the first set of monsters, but where the second set of monsters spawns is going to dictate how the rest of this walk goes. And Max knows what to do. Just as I say that, of course, he goes into the wrong square. He goes into the square next to Bagoo's hut, which is a fixed encounter, and now he's into Bagoo.
And just a note on the fixed encounters, you'll hear us use the term manipulation a lot throughout the race. Encounter manipulation is a huge part of this speedrun, and what we mean by that is manipulating not just the movement of the overworld sprites that are monsters, but also manipulating where you run into them, because the way this game works is it gives priority to monster encounters over fixed encounters. So if you happen to get into a monster encounter on the same tile you would get into a fixed encounter, you get the monster encounter instead, which means it's usually easier than the fixed encounter. So what you just saw Error pick up there was the 3rd spell. It is the spell Life. Again, it does exactly what it says. It's going to restore your life. How you get that is that room that you just saw Max leave, there's a mirror under the table. You return the mirror to that lady and you get access to the life spell. What life is going to do is it's going to restore 3 bars of life to your meter there, which is a little shout out to the fairies in Zelda 1, because fairies, when you got them, would restore 3 hearts.
Well, Error the first to talk to Riverman, proving that he knows Bagoo, and now he gets passage to Death Mountain, which is the first real challenge of the game. I mean, there's some small challenges in Palace 1 and some of the monster manipulations to and from there, but Death Mountain's where it really ramps up in difficulty. There's a lot of fighting to be done, and normally they expect you to have beaten Palace 2 at least. Well, I guess Palace 2 at most. There's only 2 palaces you can do up to this point. But speedrunners go here as early as they possibly can. And let's see, with attack 3, this is where you're going to start to see Error losing time, because those moblins there taking more hits. Pretty much any of the large enemies are going to take more hits than when Scorpion Max has to go through. There's also going to be a bunch of drop